Hello dear visitors, dear subscribers, dear friends of YouTube channel Retro Photo House. Today I would like to share with you my knowledge about how to clean up the focusing part of another well-known Russian Soviet lens. It is a Helios 44M. So it's this very nice lens, sharp. Most of them were produced by famous KMZ plant, and it's still very popular because of swirly bokeh it gives and the overall quality of image. Very often these lenses were made in 60s, 80s, and the lubricating grease inside the focusing ring has got very old, and it makes that the focusing ring here, for example, turning is not smoothly, but with a bit of force. You need to apply a bit of force, and when taking down the peaks and focusing, it can be quite annoying thing. And today we will talk how to relubricate focusing part. It's quite complex construction inside, and you need to follow exactly all the steps I will show you, otherwise you will not be able to reassemble it in proper way. It might be a result that the focusing will lead to focusing from half to meter to 2 meters, for example, and so on. Not full range focusing will be available. So to perform this work you will need some tools. First, this is set of screwdrivers, like these little screwdrivers, and this one. Then you will need a pair of calipers. You will need the cotton sticks, ordinary cotton sticks, to remove the old grease. You will need the pure alcohol to dissolve the old grease, and I use Team 201 grease to relubricate. This is Russian Soviet grease for this type of lenses. So let's start. First of all, we need to focus this lens to infinity, and in this position we will disassemble lens and reassemble it back. So here there are 3 screws. We need to remove them. One, 2, and 3. Then you remove the back cover. This you don't need, you put it aside. Then you remove the aperture control ring. On the sides there are 2 little bolts. It makes that the aperture clicks when you turn it. You just put it aside. Then there is this part, this one. You remove it as well. So from this side, and just here you need to make the first marking. You put the marking here, and you put the marking on this side, for example. it allows you to put the optical block inside the focusing part in proper way, because only one position is correct. Then you turn the lens and you need to remove this front ring. I use a calipers for it, but you can use also a specific tool, but with calipers it works very well. You just put the calipers into the two holes, and by turning a bit you make it turning, and then you remove the ring. Then you see here 3 screws. You remove them as well. And you remove this part. You put aside, you don't need it. This ring neither. Now we need to separate optical block from helicoid part. There are also 3 screws. We need to remove them. And then by pulling this part, you just separate the optical block from the focusing block. Optical block you put aside, we don't need it, as well as all the little screws. We will work with focusing part. So now we need to put another marking. Just you find this red line, and there is a ring, and there is an edge of ring here, and here you just put your little marking here. You see, on the edge of this extreme ring. Then we will need to remove the focusing ring and this ring with all the markings. There are 3 little screws on the sides of this ring. We need to remove them, all 3. Just unscrew a little bit to be able to remove the ring. And you separate it. Oh, you see? Ring you put aside. Then you need to put your next marking. You may see here this brass ring, and you put the marking just near the red line here on the brass ring here. Then we have this marking here, little on the edge of the ring. We have our red line, and we have the big marking on the brass ring. Then we need to remove this ring. It's done. This ring you put aside. So now we have our focusing part disassembled, and now it focused on infinity, this lens. So now we just need to put our next marking. You may see there is a ring here, separate ring. So now we have our little marking on this ring, little, we have big marking on the brass ring, and we just put in the same position the marking on the inner ring here. This is important. And you need to assess here this distance. Normally it's about 1-2 millimeters. Let's measure. It's not very important to make it really precisely, just for you to see. So we have here 1.1 millimeters. And what is very important for reassembling, these two rings here, one is turns and this one is turns. The ratio between all three is very important. So if we will disassemble all these rings without markings, we will not be able to put them together in exactly the same way, and in this case we will not be able to make the focusing part correctly working. So now we will remove this rear side ring from brass ring. For this we need to assess one thing. So let's turn it like this and see how much turns it makes till completely screwed inside. Not even one turn, you see? We can't make one complete turn. So we need to remember this. So one more time. One marking here, one on the brass. Turn it completely. Clockwise. You see, you can't make even one complete turn. We need to assess it for reassembling. So now you can disassemble by turning counterclockwise. You have here your two rings. This we do not touch, and we have the rear ring with the thread, one step thread. So now we will need to remove all the grease from this ring. Just you take your cotton stick with the alcohol and you start working by removing the all grease on the thread. And you do this until it will be completely clean. For time saving purposes, I will not make it completely clean, because after I do not want to use any video editing software. So just with the alcohol and cotton stick you just make it clean, this ring. Let's assume that it's cleaned, okay? Then you take the ceatine grease and you just take a little bamboo stick for teeth, here for example, and you take a little bit of grease and you're applying it on this ring, not too much, like this. So this ring is ready. Now more complex is these two rings. So we have our correct positions with two marking, one marking on brass ring and one marking on inner ring. So now by turning clockwise we will remove it one from another, but this is a multi-thread here, and only one position when you put it in is correct. So now we need to assess the moment where it will come out, and at that moment we will put another marking on this ring. Let's see, it will come out here. You see, here it comes out. So here for our, we need to put another marking here as continuing of this marking here, 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 and here. You see. So because after, when we to reassemble properly these two threads, we will need to align one marking here with big marking on the brass ring to let it in completely correctly. So here you have all your threads available for cleaning, and you just start cleaning all the threads. It may take some time, and it will. You just can take a bit of cotton and make a little very thin stick with alcohol to pass all the threads. So you need to clean very good this surface. As you may see, there is an old black grease on this ring. So let's assume it's cleaned as well for time-saving purposes. You will make it more perfectly than I do when you will clean yours. And you need to clean also the inner threads of brass ring. There are two threads here. And here as well. And here you do not apply any grease because you will do on the external threads, not in this one. It's not necessary. So let's assume they are clean on all three rings. One, bit of paper, maybe also. Here you have. Then you apply a grease on this multi-thread ring. not very big quantity, like this more or less. Then you will start to reassemble them. Yeah, just put take the ring like this, and you find your marking here, the second one. Here, the second one, I guess. And you take the brass ring and you find the marking here. And from little side, this little side, more narrower side, let's say, and this one, and you align the markings and you try to screw them all together to catch up the thread, to make it in. Sometimes it's a bit tricky. You need to keep the rings straight one to another. It do not comes for a while. Here we have. So it came in, but now we need to assess is this a proper thread or not. So we have here, we need to have a little bit 1 millimeter, and the marking should be aligned, the first marking. So yes, we had a chance, I guess. From the first try, you may see here the marking here and the marking here, and it makes out the thickness, the width of 1 millimeter, I guess, more or less. Yes. So this is a proper position of to these rings, okay? And now, so you leave in this position, marking aligned with marking here, and just you put this ring. This is most simplest way. So you start to screw them in, and as you remember, there were no one full turn here. You screw it to the end, okay? And then you go back a little bit. You see this marking with this marking, they are not aligned. You just need to unscrew them a little bit, like this. Hop, you see? This marking corresponds to this one. So this is a proper position of this rear ring. So here it's okay with 1 millimeter approximately. The marking is aligned here with the marking here and the marking here. So our 3 rings are screwed in correctly. And then we will just need to put the rings. You just take this one, okay, and you align the red line with this little marking on the edge, and you see it gives the holes for the screws here, right on their places. Hop. And just you fix the ring with the help of screwdriver. Three screws. Up. Then you take a big focusing ring. There is this part, you see. So you need to put it like this, infinity to the red line, and you see it comes aligned with holes with the screws here. hop, and just you screw, you fix it with the screws. Then it's done. You leave it on infinity, and we need to put the focusing, the optical part into a focusing part. You remember we were making the marking here, and we have our marking here. So you just put it in the way to the marking to be aligned one with another. You see here? Yes. You put it inside to the end. And then here you see the holes where you need to put the little screws to fix the optical block with the focusing block. 1, 2, and 3. So it's fixed. Now you can turn and assess how it works all together. It works fine. Just we need to complete the reassembly. Now we need to put this part in this position. So this thin part should be here, and there are grooves here for the pins, for these pins. I just put it like this. Hop, it's okay. It's okay, you see? The proper position. Then you need to put the balls with the focusing, with the aperture control ring. The problem here that to put 2 balls you need to have some plant equipment. I made a really big number of tries, and I didn't manage to put all 2 balls together. It's very difficult. So we will put only one, and it will still work very well with it. Do not worry. So there is a little spring inside this hole near this red line. You put it like this. Be careful because it jumps. And then you take your ring with a scale. There are grooves for this part, and you push like this. You keep the ball on its place, you push on it, and you put the ring. As you may see, there are clicks, there are no problem. It works even one ball. So, and then you need to put this back cover. There is a fork here, you may see. And there is a pin here. So you align the fork with the pin. You need to come one with another, like this. And then just you find the holes here, where to put the screws. This is proper position. And you just put the screws, the biggest one, on their places. 1, 2, and 3. You screw them quite good with applying a bit of force, and you check up if it works. Yes, it works, there is no problem. So, and you put this ring on its place, okay, like this, up. With the screws. 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes tricky thing, but finally we will manage to put it. Just a question of time. So all these screws are at their places. You just put this front decorator ring, you screw it in, you fix it with a bit of force with help of calipers, for example. And here you have, we just reassembled our lens. Now it's very smooth, focusing is smooth with old grease, with new grease, sorry, and there is full range focusing. And just after, you just clean a little bit the body from the grease that might be a bit on it, and as well as glasses if needed. So by following these steps, especially with the marking, with the proper marking, you can relubricate the focusing part of this great lens 20, 30, 40 years old, and it will still keep delivering you the outstanding photos with a swirly bokeh. This team you can find in my eBay store if you wish, and this also I'm selling such lenses in my store. If you're interested in, you can just take a look in my store. The link is below this video. So this is Retro Photo House. We are working for you, for your satisfaction. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.